Hi, extrusion is a motivational filter. Kind of what we said in terms of like the prospect chair and all that, part of that was really a test. I mean, what it really said is we're looking for the people who really want it, who want to be part of this recovery community. These people who've got this internal motivation for this thing we call recovery. And we would get that, but it's creamy. You understand what I'm saying? This is not a representative sample of people who will go through that nonsense to get into a therapeutic community. So what's the alternative to that? I want to talk about who doesn't get in and who we throw out and who leaves early. Because it could be the people that leaving early are the people who are getting well on their own. And we ought to celebrate that. I wish I could tell you that, but that ain't the truth. When we look at clinical data, what's the difference between people who complete versus people who don't complete? The people who don't complete are the people who need the treatment the most. Do you understand? They're the people with the greatest problem severity, the greatest problem complexity in terms of co-occurring disorders as an example. They have the greatest obstacles to recovery in their environment. So if anything, that ought to be the group. It's almost like if we could take everybody who needs post-treatment monitoring and support. Because right now, the only way it exists is with graduates for the most place in an acute care model. The people who graduate, we do follow-up and we say, we got a 90% success rate for the 10% of our people who graduate. Right? And we do. We try to build in a lot of support for our graduates because we're so proud of them. But I want you to think with me for a minute here. Who needs contact and support and reintervention the most? Not our superstars, but the people who in fact couldn't make it through that system.
Does that include those who are administratively discharged?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That says something about the way we do treatment.
Yeah.
That might imply that the way we do
Yeah? No. Say it. Go ahead. Turn, do the mic.
Yeah, I forgot what I said in all, but I asked him, did that include those who were administratively discharged as well? And he said yes, and then I said that might imply that the way we do treatment is the wrong way. Wow. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that we probably need to be willing here today to make a commitment to changing the way that we do treatment
and particularly to fundamentally change how we perceive the relationship with people we've historically administratively discharged. I mean, this is a very different, what I'm really talking, we're going to get to the sections around monitoring. We're going to talk, but I want to get out of this. The people we expel are in fact some of the very people who need the closest monitoring, who can benefit most from that. And so, I'm going to give you something of surprise here, who may be most responsive at the point you recheck and re-engage them. I'm saying I don't care what the circumstances are. I don't care how bad, how ugly a discharge is. We ought to have somebody there with a face and voice of recovery saying, would it be okay if we check back on and see how you were doing in the next month? Or could I give you a call next week just to check? And you know what? This person's ready to call us every name in the book until somebody says, can I call you next week? Sure, man, you can call me next week.
To read and fill out that's coming to you to ask you to teach them to read.
There you go.
I mean, it doesn't. If you think about it, it doesn't make any sense.
Absolutely. I want to talk about engagement in terms. Did you have a question or comment? Yeah, let me tell you. In my early years, I worked with street cultures a lot. And so, I'd sit around shooting galleries and listen to people talking about treatment. And when somebody's there nodding their head, banging around like the bubble doll in the back of an old car window, just shot junk talking about, I got to get to that treatment program tomorrow. If I don't, I'm going to go to prison next week, and all that kind of ramble. And somebody said, okay, man, here, let me tell you. I'll tell you exactly how you got to get in that program. Man, you got to go in, you got to talk about all them prior treatments you went through before. You got to talk about how you messed up, how your thinking's finally clear now. You got to take total responsibility for screwing all that up and saying this time's going to be different. In other words, they prepare the speech. So this person comes in and does the speech, right? And what I'm telling you, here's the message in the shift from treatment as usual to the new world. In the new world, motivation at the point of contact, initial contact, is not a predictor of recovery outcome. Everybody hear me? This is the science of it. You cannot predict at the initial contact by evaluating somebody's motivation or lack of it or their ability to verbalize it, who's going to be in recovery 2 years later. Because the people you think are motivated, I'm going back to my shooting gallery story, most of the time you're getting hustled. Do you understand? This ain't motivation, this is coaching. This is somebody who, as part of their addiction career, has had to learn how to manipulate their way into treatment for respite, not for recovery, but to take care of their habit, to lower their tolerance or whatever, right? To escape, get off the streets for a while, because bad people are looking for them. So in the new world, motivation is an outcome of treatment. Authentic motivation for change is an outcome, not a precondition to get into treatment. Does that mean that we don't admit people because they don't have motivation? I'm saying lack of motivation is not a ground for admission into treatment. If we can get their body into treatment, that motivation is a shared responsibility, not the exclusive responsibility of a client. That's a new world. Now, let me put some stuff on that.